So I did a, where'd this thing go? Up like that. No. That's the top. So I did a video earlier, and it was about the Astro Van Door Sag, and when I did that, you know, I felt silly because I was showing people how to get in and out of their vehicle properly. Like, you know, like you need that, like you don't know how to get in and out of a car. But if you put all your weight on a door, then eventually it's going to sag. That's what causes that. But it made me think of another story about telling somebody how to do something that seems pretty friggin' obvious, and then people goof on you for it. Because it boils down to perception. It made me think of another thing. I figured I'd just share that real quick, and it was kind of funny, I think. I was working on a show, a film back in the late 90s, and a guy was, he was a friend of mine, he was the foreman. We would swap. Sometimes I'd be the foreman, sometimes he would be. And he was having some personal issues. It was a show that had a lot of carpenters on it. I had worked with most of the other carpenters at one time or another. And, but I didn't know all of them. And he said something to me that was like, he had no business speaking to me in that manner. And it's because he was having a bad day. And, you know, I got in his face about it. I said, hey, motherfucker. You don't talk to me like that. And when at the end of work today, we're having a conversation. And so he mellowed out real quick, and afterwards, after work, we went to a bar. Me, him, and another guy that, you know, the three of us were all mutual pals. The other guy was more of an artist. He wasn't really a carpenter. I hired him on some other shows, and it was a pain in the ass. But anyhow, you know, this guy apologized profusely to me, and that was the end of it. And we started talking over a few beers, and we started talking about what their perceptions of us are when we're not around. You know, everybody talks smack, even guys do that. They talk smack about one another when the other guy ain't there, you know. So, the one guy says to me, he says, Mike, the consensus on you is that everybody thinks you got a screw loose and nobody wants to be around when it wiggles free. Yeah, that's basically exactly what I was going for. But the reason for it was because there was this young guy, and he was upset. He was a big guy. Him and his dad were both big dudes. I later got into it with his father on another show. He thought he just bullied people around. I was the first guy ever stood up to him, I think, and it rattled him a little bit. But this kid was pushing a broom around, and he wasn't sweeping. He was making it look like he was sweeping. You know what I'm saying? And again, you know my background. So if I'm sweeping a floor, I'm sweeping a friggin' floor. And I walked up to him, so he said to everybody, and this is what the guys said to me, they said, everybody thinks you're nuts because you actually took the time to show a guy how to sweep. And I looked at them and I said, well, what's worse? Me telling him how to sweep a floor, or him needing to be told how to sweep a floor? Perception. Like the light bulbs went off over their heads and you just saw like, oh yeah, I get it. They got it. Now, I had this, my friend's wife, when I was home last summer, I'm lactose intolerant, you know, self-diagnosed, and I avoided dairy for years, and now I eat some dairy. I can eat white cheeses and yogurt, it doesn't bother me. But if I drink a whole glass of milk, whole milk, I would rather fight someone to the death than drink a cup of whole milk, honestly. And I have a problem with yellow cheeses, specifically. If I eat cheddar or something, again, I would rather fight another human being hand to hand to the death than eat a hunk of cheddar cheese because of what it does to me. And I said, I'm lactose intolerant, but I can eat white cheese. She goes, that's bullshit. That's all psychological. A dumb thing to say. Now she said that because she said to me that her doctor told her that that's not possible. Screw you, doc. All right, like that's your perception of things. You don't have that problem. Fine. I have that problem. I'm not making it up. I'm not making up the stomach cramps and the shits and everything else that happens to me if I do those things. So the moral of this video here is you only understand things from your own perspective. Your own perspective is based on your life experience. And if you don't have any experience with something that somebody else is talking about, shut the hell up about it. That's all I have to say about that. I'm getting back to work here. Have a good day. Be good to each other. And, you know, look, if you got to crack someone, crack them one. But always explain why.